I know. I'm doing part two now. He would heaven. I'm having trouble with this. Okay. Come on. Occupancy that allowed him to slip in and out of remote locations and would attempt to remain inconspicuous, choosing to wear dark colored clothing. There was a good chance that he had been caught impersonating law enforcement in his past. He would be single and uncharacteristic for a serial killer. He would be he would be black. What the heck does that? Yeah, okay. I feel like this article was written back in the olden days, or they're taking what the old article said and trying to I don't know. This just seems weird. Even if he did it, the way this article is just weird. I mean, really, just the way it's written to me. And that's coming from a person who has an intellectual disability, dyscalculia, and ADHD. Y'all gotta work on this weird writing. The other ones weren't so weird. Okay, so let's continue before I lose my mind. And I digress. Okay. Police were convinced that they had found their man. One, meaning William Douglas, described him as an angry young man seeking power. The problem was, there seemed to be little in the way of hard evidence linking Williams to the crimes, other than his appearance on the James Jackson Parkway Bridge on 22nd May. It was hoped that a thorough search of his home would provide further evidence. The first thing investigators noticed when entering Mr. and Mrs. Williams' residence was the olive green carpet. After careful analyzation, it was established, wow, that is a hard sentence, that the flooring was luxury, just like the fibers recovered from a few of the earlier bodies, despite his lifeless corpse being thrown into the rushing waters of the. How am I supposed to even say this river's name? Chattahoochee River. An olive green fiber had also been recovered from National Carter's hair. Meanwhile, a correspondent examined of Williams' wagon station revealed more surprises. A single fragment of rayon found on Jimmy Ray Payton's shorts matched the carpeting in the vehicle. The discovery of a 24-inch nylon cord, which investigators later claimed matched the literature marks found around the neck of various victims, and a pair of gloves, were highly suspicious to say the very least. Dog hairs, miraculously picked up from the back seat, correspond with hair samples found on a number of previous bodies. On 21st June 1981, the police arrested Williams, but without any fingerprints or even a murder weapon, they decided to err on the side of caution. And much to the valuable presence of the other victim's parents, he was charged with first-degree murder of national. I am so sorry. Nathannielcater and Jimmy Ray Payton only. The prosecution case would rest solely on the chemical fibers evidence and would come down to the law of arrange average. After all, we were the odds that such fibers would find themselves on these two individuals when the luxury carpet found in William's home had been manufactured and sold to cover no more than 6.7 billion square yards. The answer, they argued, was virtually inconcludable considering the fibers from the car were also discovered on the young man, despite his lifeless body being thrown into the river. An olive green fiber had been recovered from Carter's hair. Homer and Faye Williams, the parents of Wayne, look on in horror at the trial unfolds. It is so hard as a parent, I think, to be on both sides. If I found out my kid did this, I wouldn't know what to say, do, or think. I'd be like, what the age is wrong with you? I love you and I want to be there for you, but what is wrong with you, child? I tried to raise you right. You just go, and then you're like, oh my goodness, these poor parents who lost their child. Could you imagine if that was your child? I would not be okay with any of this. Okay, the trial began on January 6, 1982, and ended 52 days later when the jury finding Williams guilty of the murder of Jane Ray Payton and Carter. I'm saying his last name only because I cannot pronounce his first name for the life of me. And after this, I should probably get some nasal spray. Apparently my allergies are no, not today, lady. When Williams' lawyer suffered at the weak evidence and startling ruling by the judge, allowed the prosecution to bring forward fiber evidence which linked William with other victims despite the fact he had not been officially accused of the murder. 21 further victims, both children and young adults, were attributed to him but not proven. Their cases were subsequently closed after the Atlanta Special Police Task Force claimed that the fiber evidence clearly linked all deaths back to him. 6 more murders remain unsolved to this day. No one, with the exception of Wayne Williams himself, has argued that he is innocent of all the crimes, but there is a growing number of individuals who are convinced that he was wrongfully blamed for at least some of the Atlanta children murders. Indeed, it would be argued that he was found guilty under the law of probability rather than the law of the country. If that is the case, then another killer still roams the highways and byways of Atlanta. The jury had been mismarriage by prosecution. Analysts carefully presented in forms of 40 charts and over 300 photographies of dog hair and carpet fibers. However, far less time in court was given to the chance to one man would charge his mounts so dramatically across a short space of time, slipping between victim types and murder mythology. Having presented the Atlanta law enforcement officer with an individual profile, John Douglas has admitted that while he firmly believes William is guilty of many of the murders, he doesn't think that all of the killings should be attributed to him. In fact, he is quite convinced that there isn't a single offender. Former Atlanta police detective Danny Agin supports the claim, stating that it seems unlikely that Williams, who Prosette claimed was attracted to boys, killed the 2 girls who were among the victims. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense if they were assaulted, because unless he's bisexual, which can still happen, but geez, this case is getting more and more weird. The case has rumbled on for years, with their investigation taking place in 2007. Scientific analysis of the dog hair found on some of the victims were once again examined against Williams' dog, while DNA tests were carried out on human hairs found on the victims but thought to belong to the killer. No conclusive proof was forthcoming. Rumors of possible... This is one of my least favorite cases so far. The KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, involvement has been raised on numerous occasions. Supported by many of the victims' grieving parents, a 2-month top-secret investigation into the KKA activities known as the 81 File took place during the Atlanta child murders but was kept out of the trial. Had the information accumulated by the investigators on the movement of the 10,000 white supremacists, this is what it says. I'm just reading word for word. Don't get mad at me. But also, really? Are you kidding me? I mean, that would actually make more sense than him doing it, which is very confusing to me. My poor little brain is about to explode. That would make more sense. And of course, no one would arrest him because it's this time period. I really can't. And yes, we still have our issues to this day, but jeez, this case. And we're gonna continue again.